you.
We're gonna move over to Miss Patricia Newell.
Yes, good evening. I want to first thank the pastor and thank you, Dr. Bell, for the invitation, for giving Johnson C. Smith an opportunity to talk about the good work that we're doing with a very, very vulnerable population of students. So I am the director of a program at Johnson C. Smith that was created in 2008. And we serve students who are aging out of the foster care system who want the opportunity to go to college. Statistically, there are about 23,000 students a year that age out across the nation. Less than 2% of those students are given the opportunity to go to college, and fewer than 1% ever get beyond an associate's degree. So the work that Johnson C. Smith has done is cutting edge. We are the first HBCU to really tackle this work, while the work itself is about 20 years old in the nation. Never before had an historically Black university step to the plate in this way, which was interesting because most of the children, more than 80% of the children in the foster care system that are disproportionately impacted by the problem of being in the foster care system are Black and brown children. So it was interesting to me. I was excited when I had the opportunity to come to this table and do this work, because I always felt that we were the best suited. These are our babies, and we have more of an investment. HBCU is known for its commitment to students achieving that other folk didn't even want to go to school. So it's what we've always done. And so we're not new to the work. We are just looking at a specific population. I want to think about this work from the standpoint of the pandemic. I work with a population of students that have always been traumatized, have always had food insecurity, have always been afraid of what the next move looks like. So you throw a global pandemic on top of that, when this was already their real life. And then we added something that was catastrophic and rocked the whole world. So my students really had a lot of challenges that they were facing. And so to that end, I want to speak directly to the question of starting over. I prayerfully, and I do say prayerfully, we will have our students back on our campus sometime in 2021, hopefully, prayerfully in the fall. And that means more to this population than you can ever imagine, because for most of my students, college was a place to lay their head. It wasn't just about an education. It was a stable living in community for 4 years, and they didn't have to worry about somebody telling them to get out if they could do the work. So when they had to go home and back to uncertainty across the nation, because our students come from all over this country at Johnson C. Smith, because we're a private university, we of course take students from everywhere. And they went home, and it was just really, really, really frightening. So the question was asked, what was the biggest hurdle? What was the biggest challenge? And so I took my answer from the scripture, because I thought, well, let God speak to God's people. So I thought about Philippians 3:13, where he said, forgetting the things that lie behind, I push forward. I continue on. Actually, Brother Jakes was on this morning talking about casting your anchor forward. And it was a powerful word, because I thought these students need to be beyond what happened when they went home. And I know our discussion is not exclusively about the pandemic, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about it for this population. So we're looking forward to their return. and what we can do to make sure they are successful. We have graduated more than 32 students from the university. And again, remember that less than 1% in the nation get to do that. Johnson C. Smith has already graduated 32 of those babies, and we're very, very proud of that. Statistically, that means a lot in our world of child welfare. So what the question asks is, what can the church do? And the thing that came to my mind very soberly was, we can do what we are called to do. And first and foremost, we can pray. Often overlooked remedy, and oddly, but we need your prayers. We need your prayers. These students need your prayers. If they are to come back with sound mind, ready to go, ready to take on the academic rigor that is facing them, they're going to need to be prayed for. Secondly, I said to myself, well, y'all, we are givers. The people of God, we're generous people. Our program at Johnson C. Smith is supported by generous donors in the Charlotte community. We are supported by the corporate community here in Charlotte. We are supported by our illustrious alumni, of which Dr. Bell is a proud one. And so that's how we run this program. That's how they pay my salary. That's how we buy students books. That's how we send them home when there's an emergency. That is how we let them live on our campus over the break when everybody else has a home to go to for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Our students in this program usually don't have a place to go. So the university doesn't have to, they have historically provided a place for them to live. And so we've needed funding to keep the university doors open, even when normally we would close them. So the two things that came to mind was prayer and giving as what the church can do. We have been so supported by this community. The Links of Charlotte chapter has made sure that scholarships were made available to my students. Jack and Jill of Greater Charlotte has been a huge supporter. We're supported by Bank of America, LPL Financial. These people bring internships to our students. They bring employment opportunities. They bring a summer bridge program because we know that these students are going to be academically unstable when they get there. If you know anything about foster care, these students are usually shuffled around to a good 4 to 5 high schools before they get out. So they're not your strongest student academically. So we need every bit of the support that we get. Sisters of Mercy, one of our first funders. We've just been blessed. We've been so blessed at Johnson C. Smith, but the need continues to be there. So for those that really want to know the answer to the question, what can I do? They can pull out the checkbook and get busy writing. Thank you for your time, and I'm here.
Thank you. You know, what I'm hearing is, I'm hearing adoption, I'm hearing pray, I'm hearing give, right? And I want to thank you again for being here.